afternoon, Grunge Bible family. We are back for another episode of the Grunge Bible podcast. My name is Ethan Shalloway, and I'm joined by Chris Salona, my good friend. Chris, how you doing? You look great.
I feel even better. I have to say, by the time this podcast comes out, it will be September. And I'll tell you, about a month ago, I had a dream, and in the dream, it was August 31st. For some reason, I was really upset about it. But now that the end of the end of August, the end of summer is basically here, I'm not as upset as I was before. It just kind of is what it is, and you move on to the next one. But all told, I'm feeling pretty good today. How are you?
I'm doing well. Tomorrow is August 31st. Actually, it's my brother's birthday, and thus marks the end of, the normal summer. I always think of, I guess summer technically goes till the 22nd of September.
Yeah, something like that. But it doesn't feel like it.
But the school has started back up for everybody. So and football season's about to kick off. And I'm doing well though. I'm doing well. We just finished some travel and vacation ourselves. So as much as it re-energizes you and it's good for rest, it takes energy out. So we'll get into that a little bit later, but no, I'm doing great. I'm excited. September's a good month. And Billy Joe will be going to sleep soon. I'll have to wake him up when it's done. So
yeah, he's got a long slumber ahead of him. And honestly,
he's probably excited. Wouldn't that be nice to be that guy?
I'm a little jealous, to be honest.
He can just go to sleep for 31 or 30 days, and then just everybody wakes him up all together.
He must be so rejuvenated come October 1st. Either that or his body is just atrophied into oblivion, but maybe we'll have to try that one of these days. But yeah, man, the summer is coming to a close here in the United States, and we're moving on to the next thing. But the one constant is the Grunge Bible train keeps on rolling. We had a big couple of weeks, the past few weeks, with some big album anniversaries as we celebrated Facelift's 31st birthday, and then 10's 30th birthday was but a few days ago at the time of this recording, and that was absolutely massive. I had a lot of fun on the pages, just kind of reading everybody's stories about those albums and sharing in the discourse there. And additionally, I believe through the podcasts, which we've released recently, we've had some new members of the Patreon club hop aboard the ship, and we're setting sail together. So since the last time we recorded this live, we have a new supporter of the cause named Paul Madigan. So to Paul out there, thank you so much for joining us here. We're very grateful for you. And then additionally, we have two more new top-level patrons, and their names are Laura Nyreen and Kayla Jean. So Laura and Kayla Jean, they're members now of the top tier, and I believe we've got 11 or 12 if my math is correct, which I can't count.
That's right. Last time we were talking about who was going to fill out the top 10, and we got 2, so that now we're at 11. So.
Exactly. So we've got Laura and Kayla Jean will join The Real Billy Corgan, Sue, Jade Mercado, Release, Alexis Shannon, Sonny Mashburn, Shannon Gorgone, Victor Schaefer, and Marianne. So we've got a strong group here, and it's like that song by Chicago, feeling stronger every day. We're growing stronger every day. I bet you didn't know there would be a Chicago reference on the Grunge Bible podcast.
I enjoy that. I know my dad would love that. I'd love to hear that we reference Chicago.
There's something for everybody here, and we try to keep it that way.
Chicago, what a good band. What a great what a great time in music.
Yeah, I remember we spent way too much time than we probably should have just watching live video of Chicago one time I was visiting you.
We were watching the guitar solo to 22 and 6, or what are the numbers?
I don't know. I was going to say 24 and 2, or I know it's not 46 and 2 because that's by some other friends of ours, but nevertheless, whichever song that is, yeah, I remember we got pretty into that one. As you have to, it's just fantastic musicianship. So we're always excited for those displays, but going back to what we were talking about earlier, the summertime here in the States is ending, and it's really strange for me. So obviously, I grew up, I went to school, I went to high school, I went to college, but then in addition to that, I worked for 2 years right after college, in my schedule, I worked for a college, so my schedule was still dictated by academics, and it's still weird. I just feel like I'm supposed to be sad at this time of the year, and I feel like my life is supposed to be transitioning at this time of the year, but at this point it's really not. Like my Julys aren't really different from my Novembers at this point, since I just work like a normal job. But it's always strange. Like I catch myself like late August and especially early September being like, oh shit, like it's all over now, but it really isn't. I don't know. It is a strange feeling though, especially both of us being on the other side of, 4 or 5 years of college, and just how, that calendar, I think, lingers a little bit longer in your head.
Yeah. It's like there's like there's like a big break for a lot of people, like the teachers and stuff, where they don't work it all the summer. And then there's also the opposite, where you have kids that have like summer help, and they come in and they help for the 4 months or the 3 months. And you go to camps. Like I used to work at a camp, and you'd work, June, July, and August, and then you're done. Or we had someone come and help this year at the tree service, and he's going back to college, so we're losing a hand. And you always have more help in the summer during the busy season. And then, so yeah, I know what you mean. It's just kind of like a mental. It seems like it's a mental shift, and I think that's pretty similar for a lot of people.
Yeah, I wonder if it's something that I'm going to grow out of eventually, or am I going to be like 35 and be like, oh man, summer's ending. I mean, I feel like most of us probably are preferential to summer over winter. I know I definitely am. And I know we both just got back from vacations actually. So it's like you get one last, like, you're drinking it up and.
Yeah. Why do people they feel like, why is vacation I guess it's just, probably because kids are in school, but vacation is just set for the summer, which is interesting.
And it's always like the end of summer. Like you don't hear about these people, heading out at the beginning of June or the end of May. It's always like the end of August. Like everybody's going somewhere. Everybody's like, oh, we got to get that last little bit of summertime in. And I mean, who am I to, I really can't make fun of them. I just did the same damn thing. But I don't know.
Definitely dictated by school and kids. Cause I mean, that's why family vacations, like, yeah, and then also like for the sports world, there's a kind of a lull that we just experienced where pretty much the only sport going on is baseball and a few majors. But now everything's kind of is starting to kick back up. But there's a lull. That's where everybody in the sports world goes on vacation too, and we've been synced up with that as well. So yeah, it's interesting. I know, it's always tricky. Like. When you're super busy and then you go on vacation, then you're not busy at all, and you have the freedom to do whatever, and but you're always kind of looking forward to like the next season. Because I was gonna ask the question. You have people prefer summer over winter, but anytime you ask somebody what their favorite season is, I feel like their response is whatever the next one is. If
it's usually not the one that they're in.
Yeah, everybody's like even if the summer is your favorite one, if you ask people in the summer, they're always like. The fall, like I love like colder weather, and then the same thing in the fall. You're just like, oh, like I want Christmas, and I want the snow, and then the snow. It's like I can't wait for it to thaw out, and then it's like I can't wait to get on the boat in the summer, and it's like you're always looking to the next thing, and it's like why why is that?
Yeah, well, that's like the same thing about vacation too. I feel like I think a lot of us probably, you have a finite amount of vacation from your work that you're allowed. And usually you take it maybe a week at a time, maybe 2 weeks at a time if you're feeling dangerous a little bit. And, it's like you spend your entire summer waiting for that end of summer trip. And then when you're there, it's like you're there for a couple of days, but then you probably start thinking about, all the things you got to do when you get back. And I don't know. I just feel like probably a lot of that just has to do with, I think, as people, we don't do a very good job of just kind of existing. I don't know, just kind of existing where we are. And I mean, we're also very busy too. So it would probably be, professionally or personally or financially irresponsible to just say to hell with whatever's happening next. We're not gonna worry about those things. But I don't know, man, because before we got on, we were talking about that a little bit. And obviously, so long to the holidays, as they say, and, you're just kind of sitting there and, when you're on vacation, you want a little bit more structure, but then as soon as you get back, like I got back this morning, I got up at 5:30 to go to work, and I was like, oh man, I wish I had another day.
Yeah. But then I'm sure like, at the end of your vacation, you're just like, you're ready to kind of.
Yeah, well, you feel like shit because the one thing about vacation is you don't take care of yourself.
No.
You don't exercise, you don't eat right, you don't probably get enough sleep. You don't. I like my vacations are never seem to be as restful as they probably should be.
No, absolutely not. And like, I was just thinking about that. Like, what's a way to combat kind of these feelings? And I was thinking, I feel like people are afraid to, like, during the year take days off. Like they feel like they need to tell the office like, oh, I'm taking 7 days in a row. When really that's not how many you need, or that's not really what you need during the year. You should be I feel like you should be taking more days off periodically. Give yourself a longer weekend to recharge.
Got to microdose it a little bit
while it's happening. Yeah. And then I was also talking to my brother because he went to St. Thomas for like 10 days. Have you ever been on a 10-day vacation? Or like longer than
not in my adult life, no.
Or like past a week. Like I did a trip where I stayed in the West Coast for like 10 days, or I was out there doing, and like that's a long time to be away from home. You don't realize until you're out there, and like when people go away for 2 weeks or something like that, like that's difficult to be on vacation time and to be like no schedule, like that's difficult. And that's when you definitely need to start incorporating your normal routine of like working out. Like if you work out regularly, I think that keeping it up on vacation is probably a tremendous way of keeping, like, I don't know. I think it would keep everything way more in line. And I agree, think that
100%.
And for some reason, I neglected it this past week for sure. I mean, there was nothing. There was not much. I mean, there was swimming and whatnot, but there was not much working out going on and eating healthy. That is. But there's no reason that we couldn't continue that, and then maybe we're just doing a different location, like the beach.
Yeah, and I always feel similarly. Like if I'm like out of the three components that generally make me feel decent as a human being, it's like 1, am I exercising? 2, am I sleeping enough? And 3, am I eating healthily? And I feel like at any one time I can take away 2 of those things for like a week, but as long as I have 1, I'll feel okay. So like this past week, like I was not eating healthily and I was not sleeping enough, but like I got up for a run every single morning, and I was up in the mountains in New Hampshire. So that was really cool.
That held you together, right?
Yeah, but it was strange.
That run was like glue.
Yeah, I was like, I kind of got excited every morning. I was like, oh, I get to go run in the mountains. And of course I was listening to like super like earthy, crunchy, like Nature Valley-y like music. I was listening to like a lot of Bon Iver and slow Phoebe Bridgers while I'm running around in the morning, but yeah, man, it's super strange, it's funny too, because like the object of vacation is to feel good, but it's like you get back and you're like, I do not feel my best.
Yeah. It's not always the recharge that you're looking for. And
no,
but sometimes it is. Sometimes you just need to get out of there, and when you're spending your own energy in whatever way you want, that's satisfying.
Yeah,
so
you have
I guess
the freedom to make
that.
those choices.
But definitely, like, holding on to one of those 3 components, like, make you feel like the first thing you do when you get back is like, all right, back to working out. Like day 1, like you go back, or like today, I'm just drinking water today.
Exactly.
Like, and
no snacks today.
Yeah, basically. And but that's why we do it, I guess, because you need both in your life.
Yeah, and it's funny kind of thinking back, because like for all intents and purposes, for the 2 of us, summer's over. But I think for both of us individually, and the time that we were able to meet up, like the summer, at least speaking for myself, was very filled, with a lot of good things and good times and everything. And it's always funny. I know we all probably do this, but I feel like my summer probably had like 4 or 5 different eras of just different things that I was doing. Or it's like, okay, I was traveling this month, or like I was hanging out with these people this week, and then, I was going to this place, or, I was doing this. And it's always accompanied by music, so, being the music fans that we are. So it's interesting. I always subconsciously end up having these different eras of music. And it's weird just to look back and kind of follow the progression of music that I was listening to this summer. And I'll just kind of read off a couple of the different eras now. Yeah. So it was kind of funny. Going into the summer, I ran a marathon basically at the start of the summertime. And as soon as that was done, I got weirdly into like 60s country music. So like a lot of like Roger Miller and like Tom T. Hall and like trucker country music. I guess like back in the 60s and 70s, like America loved the trucking industry for some reason, so a whole bunch of people wrote songs about it, and for some reason I found that very appealing, but that quickly gave way. I remember the beginning of June, pretty much most of June, I was almost exclusively listening to Modest Mouse, and I just remember, obviously the good times are killing me, because they were, positive, negative.
Each other a lot.
Oh yeah, all the time. And then that gave way, obviously, as we spoke about on this podcast. I had the Legend of the Big Beat. That was good for a couple of weeks, just like that 60s like psychedelic groovy rock with a little bit of blues in there. And that did make its return, actually. You never know when these things are going to come back. A couple of weeks ago I got heavy into that again, one weekend, just kind of jamming out to those good things. And then, just kind of towards the end, this is probably the first time the past week or two that I've actually listened to grunge rock. Like, I've been listening to a lot of Pearl Jam lately to kind of, I guess, get back to my roots. I think the 30th anniversary of Pearl Jam probably helped a little bit, because here in 2021, as a co-founder and co-owner of Grunge Bible, I don't listen to very much grunge. It doesn't happen.
The cat's out of the bag. You don't need to.
Yeah, it's no secret anymore. If you guys have been listening, doesn't really, it doesn't get much airplay. You save it for the special occasions. But what about you, Ethan? I know, you were training, you competed at Olympic trials, you traveled the Pacific Northwest, you went back home to Pennsylvania, and obviously this weekend you were out by the water, and certainly, I know just based off our conversations, there's kind of different music for those different circumstances.
Yeah, they all have they all definitely pull out different listenings. And I would say, before I get into that, it's so funny when you step away from grunge and come back to it, there is an appreciation, just like we talk about when you're working and you go to vacation, go back. I think that, you get the same with the music, music fatigue or whatever, and genre fatigue. So I think people can understand that we take breaks like that. I think, for me, if I go backwards, like this past week, I definitely have been listening to a lot of like Dirty Heads and Sublime. I really was into that this vacation, and like while I'm on the beach, and I think that's like,
I think you have to.
It's either that, or I really do like classic rock on the beach too. And it's just like, it always puts me in a really good mood.
There's a reason why they're the classics, There's a reason why people still listen to those things. And yeah.
So definitely the last week and a half, I've been listening to that a ton. Let's see. And then there was like a month. There was a month in between, like all the stuff where I was just at home working and training. Well, I wasn't training. Well, I was lifting, but I was, I feel like I went back to just kind of like bouncing around, and I had like my normal set of like music that I was getting into, but I think that's when we were doing the Modest Mouse kick, and we were throwing that back and forth to each other. And I think that was nice, because I was a little bit, I think when I'm in a routine, I have a little more time to kind of like look into music and like listen a little bit more intently. And I think that was like when I was doing that, it just kind of, it's how it works. And when I was traveling, when we were back in the beginning of the summer, we were out in the Pacific Northwest, and I feel like I was definitely listening to a lot of singer-songwriter and, Townes Van Zandt. I've been listening to him a ton this summer, which is been great.
That makes me really happy.
Because I know that you have been listening to him for a couple of years, or I don't know when you first started. And my other friend Nick also really likes him, and I listened to what you posted or showed, but I've gotten into him a good bit. And when did you first start? When did you first put me on to him?
Oh, I suppose I believe I was in high school, I think, and I heard. I must have heard, oh my goodness, I can't even remember what the first song I heard. Obviously, his cover of Dead Flowers and The Big Lebowski is a big one. He has that's what it was.
Where
it was
I first got into it.
Yeah, I had known the song. He has a song called Tecumseh Valley, which I had heard, and then I'll Be Here in the Morning. Those are, two songs that I discovered. I must have been 17 at the time, I guess. And then lately, I know you appreciate this one, but my last run up in New Hampshire yesterday morning, actually, I was listening to a little Colorado Girl while I was running around, and that's that was pretty lovely. But yeah, man, he's special. He's like he's an artist that I think you have to have been listening to music for a while to fully get.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the
layers
definition of if you know, you know.
Yeah, there's definitely layers to him, and he's like, he has a very specific story and how he passed, and then like his storytelling and how it's passed on and stuff. And I mean, I feel like there's a lot of artists that when I listen to them, I don't even realize I don't realize the importance they are to the rest of the music scene. So when you can get into it and, I don't know, experience it, I guess it's pretty rewarding. So I've had fun getting into that. And like, he just has that, like in the beginning of, the beginning of the summer, like when I was doing a bunch of traveling, there was like a lot of like the travel bug, and music goes, that type of music goes well with that. Where you just 100%. Like, for some reason, you just want to get back out there onto the road. And, it's special.
Yeah, I agree.
Experiencing new places and stuff, and having music to go along with it, or music to inspire you to do that. And I think that's why I love that type of, I don't know, setup.
Yeah, and that's kind of like one of the reasons why I love the summer so much, because I probably do the majority of my traveling in the summer months, as I think most of us do. And when you're traveling and when you have new experiences, I just think it automatically kind of makes you listen to different types of music. And I absolutely hate when you suffer kind of from like music genre fatigue, or like you're listening to something, you're like, this isn't really doing it for me anymore, but you don't really know where to go next, and it feels like such an obligation or an assignment to try to find something new to listen to. That'll happen to me periodically, where whatever I'm listening to at the time just doesn't do it for me, and I'm fresh out of ideas. I'm like, I don't know where to go. Like, none of the usual suspects are working. I've tried resorting to
that's so difficult. I hate when that happens to you. Just like,
it's terrible.
What's going on here?
Yeah, and then I just find myself getting heavy into podcasts or something until it comes back around. But like, I'm not gonna listen to a podcast while I drive down the open road or whatever. So it's always, I don't know. But I've never run out of music. I mean, nobody can ever run out, which is the nice part. You just gotta give it time. But I do hate that feeling. But this summer I've been able to kind of avoid that, just because of the different experiences that you have. It makes you want to listen to different things.
Yeah. And it's also the nice, the duality of that is when you are like listening, like I'll start in where I usually start. I'm like, this all of a sudden isn't working for me. Like, I'm just not in the Modest Mouse, or I'm not in the grunge feel. So then I move over to classic rock, and I'm like,
you mean you don't want to be listening to the Melvins?
Yeah. How could that be?
I listen every day.
I'm sitting by the campfire listening to Boris. But then all of a sudden you switch over and I'm like, oh shoot, like Sublime with Rome, and I hear Rome's voice, and it's a little different than Bradley's, and all of a sudden, and it puts me in such a good mood. And I'm like, and then you're like so happy because you're like, oh yeah, there's a whole genre that comes around at this time of year that I'm ready for. And
totally.
Like, all of a sudden you get excited for it, and like there's definitely the satisfaction of finding, like, all of a sudden finding a new pocket to be in for a little bit. And yeah, there was a lot of that this summer, which there always is. And that's why I like at the end when we do Song of the Week, because it usually comes out of different pockets. And
it's a nice little time capsule too, to look back on that playlist and kind of remember where those time pockets were and where those songs came from. It's always interesting to kind of think about, and that's something that I'll do on Spotify. Like, I make a playlist for every season of the year, so I'm just about come September 1st, my summer 2021 playlist officially closes down and no more entries are allowed. Wow. And then I start my fall, my autumn one, so that'll be coming down the pipeline here pretty soon.
Yeah. So do you are there any rules to the playlist then, or did you have a song? So I mean, basically, all I do is I just like songs on there. I don't make playlists, but I kind of click like, and it actually has the dates and stuff next to it. I think
exactly. It's kind of cool. Yeah.
But I kind of like scrolling back and just seeing like there's definitely genres like pegged in there and stuff, but so yeah, you just like at a certain date, you just switch over even if it fits in both.
Yep. So I used to make playlists like strictly based off of mood or genre or something, and I still do that from time to time. You know, I have my grunge playlist, I have my, you know, lifting playlist, I have my, you know, sleepy morning playlist or late night playlist, whatever. But I think probably 2 years ago now, I just started making a playlist every single season of just whatever I was listening to. So if I find a song I like, for example, between the months of, you know, June and September, it goes on the summer playlist, you know, regardless of what genre it is. And it's kind of weird, and it definitely works because I've gone back to like my fall 2018 playlist, or, you know, certainly like my spring 2020 or summer 2020, and, you know, I'll listen to that, and it's so weird. You can kind of like remember exactly where your head was at, you know, which in some cases is a good thing, you know, to look back on, and in some cases it's like, wow, you know, I really remember all of the negative things that were going on. But it just goes to show how powerful music is. But I do that
it's
for that
it's
purpose.
Its own social media.
Yeah, and it's its own
and like,
story.
Like we talk about it a lot with like our personal accounts or side accounts that have a different set of like it and just like in Grunge Bible and Porch Radio, it timestamps when you were listening and how you felt, and then you can be very specific. And I love the idea of, you have a fall 16 playlist and a fall 2020 playlist, and how do they go together? It's like, It's like a hidden social media, and it's like a hidden trend. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
to do that.
And also I think, you know, we have such access to being able to do this, but I feel like I've been very bad at it for a long time, even with something as simple as like taking pictures with people or something. We have such an easy ability to kind of document things and record things, and you know, sometimes I'll get like 6 months down the road and be like, wow, I don't have any pictures with these people, or I don't have anything to remember this by, because I don't journal, or I don't, you know, write or anything. So it's just a little way that I can do that, and the music can kind of, you know, transport me back to that space and help me remember certain things. It's just kind of like a personal collection of stories, which in a way is strange, because we've had this conversation. That's kind of what Grunge Bible is too, a little bit, because a lot of the times we're posting the songs for a reason, and, you know, they have a meaning to us at that time. So it's always fun to look back. I know we've got some favorites from the past that, you know, we'll think about from time to time, just different posts. And yeah, it's just a powerful tool, music, for that regard. And I know I'm positive there's people listening to this that are, you know, a little bit older than us. And, you know, it's like the cliche that, you know, you can be 60 years old and you hear a song that you liked in high school, and it'll take you right back as soon as you close your eyes. So it's really, I'm trying to do the legwork now that when I'm older, I'll be able to do that, you know, and be able to go back and, you know, listen to these songs.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will, and I think just like takes you back. I love how songs connected to certain people,
totally,
and you can't really listen to them without thinking about those people.
For better or for worse, sometimes, you know, and it's all part of it. It's the duality of man, as they say. You know, you have the good and the bad, and I know, because I know there's songs in my head that, you know, when I hear them, it's like I think of you, or I think of, you know, whomever. You know, they're just songs based off of people and experiences, because I mean that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we both love music, because of how it just brings people together and allows that timeline to be built. And yeah, it's so important. And that was, I was listening to a lot of like a lot of the Dirty Heads this past week, and listened with Elijah, and I was thinking about all the concerts and stuff. And it brings up very specific memories, and that's pretty desirable.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff, and you never know, you never realize it at the time, you know, when you're finding a song or when you're listening to a song. It's like you never know if that's going to be the one you remember, for example. But they have their funny way of solidifying themselves in your head without even you really knowing it. You know, so I'm sure in a month or 12 or whatever, I'll look back at the songs I was listening to this summer, and I'll be able to remember, you know, kind of what I did and how life was going, and, you know, what was going up, what was going down, and just kind of moving forward from there.
So I know I think I posted it last night. We've talked about this a few times, and just getting into it, you know, Ugly Casanova has a song called "So Long to the Holidays," and you know, it's a simple song in a way.
Yeah, there's not many lyrics to it, you know?
The lyrics are minimal, but it's also very it's very deep, and it's allowed for some good conversation. A lot of what this is, it's the duality of man, or as I saw someone say, it's a dichotomy of desire. And I figured that, why don't we, like, how do you, when you hear So Long to the Holidays, what's the first thing that you think of? Or when you listen to that song, So Long to the Saturdays,
it's just, it's so funny because I've subconsciously tied this song in my head with After the Gold Rush by Neil Young, just because I think those tags are so related, like After the Gold Rush and So Long to the Holidays. And I don't know, it's just kind of like a marker of, something good is now gone, or it's over. And I feel like there's not even an upside. It's just like, it's over. There's no, I don't know. You're at the point that it was so recent that you really can't even, commemorate it or properly give it nostalgia yet. It's just like this chapter is over, and I'm sure it'll have a nostalgic glow in the future. But when it kind of ends, because I've definitely had those driving home from something this summer, or driving back the morning after something, and listening to So Long to the Holidays or After the Gold Rush, like. It's you did what you did, and it's all over now. And as much as I don't know, I feel like a lot of times, like, you have good times in your life and you have great experiences with people, and subconsciously or maybe even you consciously try to get those same people together again to do that same thing. And it's never the same. Not to say that it's going to be worse, but it's always different. And it's like, for me, that song is like, there's just every single experience you have is unique, and when it's done, and that's the end of it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, well, two things. I'll get back to the song specifically, but yeah, I was listening to a song with my brother, and he gave a story about some time in college that he did something and stayed up till like 5 a.m. And I was like, you'll never be able to recreate that with those people.
Yeah.
That feeling of like freshman, sophomore year. We talked about it a lot. Like those 2 years, those freshman, sophomore year of college are like, they are definitely, can't replicate them at all.
Totally.
And I don't care what you say. It's just those feelings, everything is just so unique. And, but yeah, I think that, So Long to the Holidays. So I think Christmas is a really easy one to kind of use as an analogy, because people really look forward to that. But just even summer vacation, like this end of the summer vacation, my family looks forward to it a ton, where we'll go the whole summer. It's like, can't wait for that. And then it finally gets there, and you do everything you can to like slow it down, but then all of a sudden it's over.
And you can't slow it down.
You can't slow it down. And when you're thinking about that, like you're having a great time, but you're so caught up on like what's next and stuff and this and that.
And trying to make it last.
Trying to make it last. And then all of a sudden it finishes. And so there's like the desire of like the leading up to it, where it's like, there's such a build up, and then it happens, and then you're like, it's done. And then, like you said, yeah, it just kind of passes, and then you gotta, just gotta say so long.
Yeah.
And that's definitely how I kind of picture it. But there's also the other side of it, where it's like, it's so like after you finish, like you instantly jump to the next thing. Like right now, it's like I'm instantly moved on to 3 weeks from now. Like there's a wedding that I'm going to, or like in 5 weeks there's going to be a certain concert, or you instantly move to the next thing that keeps you going. Yeah, so right after something ends, you're always looking to whatever's next, whether that be a concert in 3 weeks or the next holiday, literally. Like you're looking towards Thanksgiving because you live away from home, and that's when you get to see your family next, or something like that. And that's the next time that you get to feel, connected. And, maybe there's a very specific feeling with the holidays, and that could be good or bad, but
yeah. And it's so weird just kind of thinking about that too, because I think, what is the one thing that everybody always tells you about life? It's like, oh, you have to enjoy the now. And I certainly say the same thing, and I believe the same thing, but it's weird that you have to enjoy the now, but you also, I think it's equally as important, if not more important, to be able to have those things to look forward to. Because I know I've had points in my life where, just based off of circumstance or hardship or whatever, is, there really wasn't a whole lot to look forward to, over the next couple of weeks or months. And, things really slow down. It makes it harder to enjoy that present tense, when you don't have things to look forward to. It's so it's just like, I don't know. I'm not old by any chance. I don't really consider myself to be particularly wise, but I don't know. I just feel like the best approach is a well-rounded one, And if you're not, you're just going to be disappointed when those things end, and it's really going to get you down. I mean, there's a reason why everybody's always sad after Christmas, for example, or sad at the end of the summertime. But maybe hopefully we're not as sad as some other people, because we got some good things in the hopper, coming forward. So I don't know. It is really strange, but it's a good point that you make, though. It doesn't take long to kind of hop back in, and it's like you physically and mentally hop back in before your emotions or your nostalgia hops back in. It's like, it's weird to think about sometimes.
And that's why you always have to, once you go to a concert, you buy your next tickets.
You buy the next tickets, yeah.
You always buy the next ticket, guys, because you want something to look forward to. And that's, that's the fun of it. That's the fun of it all. So, I mean, hopefully, like I said, I try, and I think keeping a good schedule through it all. Like, I think next year I'm going to eat. I'm going to splurge on eating, but I think I'm going to continue to keeping that workout schedule is always clutch. But we do that all year round. So it is, you definitely need a physical break, but there's something that you got to keep consistent through it all. I think that helps like a ton.
Totally.
At some point, at some level.
Got to have a guiding light throughout all of it. It doesn't matter how bright or dim it is, but it's got to be there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. So moving forward, this is going to be the first podcast that we released during the month of September, and September is significant for some very large reasons, and it is by the time the masses hear this podcast, it will officially be our birth month. We were born on the same day, 2 years apart. Ethan, you were September 28th of 1994, and I came into the world 2 years later on September 28th, 1996. So we are appreciative, and we're hopeful that we get some birthday well wishes. And if you're interested in really making our days, you could go check out our Patreon. Why give us one birthday gift in September when you can give us a gift each month for 12 months? No, but seriously, huge shout out to everybody. I think there's like 27 or 28 people that have chosen to support us in that way. And, that's really great, because as we said, we're still making this thing, of our own accord and out of our own pockets. And we're having a lot of fun doing that. But, if you're enjoying it, that is the best thing that you can do to support us and to give us a thumbs up, so to speak. So all of that information can naturally be found on grungebible.com, in addition to our merchandise, which is still going strong, just about a year into the initial drop. I think it's time we get back into the lab and maybe make some new merch. Yeah,
I think that's doable. We have some friends. I would love to get some friends' artwork on and do some collab. But isn't it? It's so funny to think that we have the same exact birthday.
What are the odds? The odds are 1 in 365 compounded by the years, man. It
always blows my mind that
it's kind of funny, and how we've become the best of friends, and we have this thing, and we'll know each other for our entire lives, obviously, and hopefully we're still at the beginning of our lives, and it is kind of funny. But I'll never not remember when your birthday is, which is kind of nice, because I tend to forget my friends' birthdays, so I won't have that problem with you, which is great.
Yeah, once again, guys, like Chris said, supporting us doesn't just mean going to Patreon. If you guys really like the podcast, just subscribe to the podcast, and if you're there, you might as well give it a thumbs up. And if that's too much to ask, no big deal. Just keep following us on the Instagram, on the Twitter, and the old TikTok that Chris is getting going.
TikTok,
Chris,
we've got 800 followers so far.
He texted me and he said, we're going to go viral on TikTok. And I was like, I don't even know what TikTok is, Chris, but let's do it.
I don't know how to work it.
So you've been posting a little bit. You got 800 followers.
Yeah, we're moving up. A couple of the clips. Do they call them? They call them TikToks, I assume, right? So two of the TikToks that we have over 45,000 views apiece. So I don't know how that happened.
Wow.
I'm assuming there's an explore page similar to Instagram, but I don't really understand it. Which is kind of problematic, because my day job, actually, I do a lot with TikTok and with social media. But I guess on the user end, I'm not the most knowledgeable. But this'll straighten that out. But yeah, we're gonna go viral, and we're gonna gonna be machines on the TikTok. So
oh my gosh,
hop on board now, because once the train leaves that station, nothing else we wanted more than another social media posting account to handle. Yeah, man, there's not much more room at the inn. I think the books are going to be closed after this one.
I definitely cannot do this again.
I cannot do this again. It's just not. It's just I can't be accommodated. Never again.
That's great. But yeah, you guys, all this stuff is right there on the page. So just continue to follow and leave your 2 cents when you have the time and when you have the patience too. And that's all we got there. So yeah. Chris, what's next? Song of the week?
Yeah, I think we'll wrap up with some Song of the Week action here. And
that's perfect.
Do you have one that you want to lead us into with? Because I'm pretty excited about mine. I'd like to save it for last.
Oh, nice. Well, I got 2. Oh, I'm sorry, I got a few, but that I could throw out. They're all so different. But I think the one that really struck me definitely is unique, and I want to put this on. So the song is off a very special new album off of Donda by Kanye West. And the song is titled Jail. And it is a very big song. It actually I'm pretty sure it has Jay-Z in the middle rap, a little verse with him. Mm-hmm. And he compares him and Kanye, or him and Yeezus to Moses and Jesus. And,
there we go.
But the lyrics like I'm going to jail tonight, someone's going to jail tonight, and it just sounds like a song that you play in the beginning of like going to a concert, or just like someone's going to jail tonight.
When the band walks out on the stage.
And it's a big song, and it's actually not it's very different than the rest of the album, because I had to be a long drive, so I was listening to most of it. But yeah, it's a pretty great song, and it definitely deserves a sharing. So I'm stamping my approval. Jail by Kanye West off the Donda album.
I haven't listened to the album yet. It was on my list of things to do this morning, but I got really busy at work, so I forgot. Maybe I'm heading into the weight room as soon as we get done with this. Perfect. Maybe I'll throw that on and
that's going to be your hype song.
See what Kanye's got us to do.
As you're loading the bar, I want you to be listening to that song.
For some reason, that lyric just makes me think of if Fred Durst were to walk out on the stage and be like, "What's up, bitches?" That's just what I think of, just because I feel like the amount of people going to jail per capita at a Limp Bizkit concert would probably far exceed a lot of other, artistic performances, so to speak. So sorry, Fred.
He'll be fine.
He'll be all right. He'll hang in there.
So where does the song of the week land for you?
So my song of the week, we meaning Grunge Bible, we have a connection to these individuals because they played a show for us during the shutdown shows, and our song of the week is from a band out of Brooklyn, New York. They're a 3-piece band of 3 wonderful ladies, and that band is called Hello Mary, and they just released a new single last week called Evicted, and I was on vacation, so I checked into Spotify real quick on Friday, and they gave me a notification of like, new song from Hello Mary, Evicted. So I screenshotted it because I wasn't able to listen at the time, and I'm still cheap. I don't allow myself to stream off of my wireless connection. I have to be on Wi-Fi to like download Spotify songs. So I forgot about it. And I was scrolling through my phone this morning, and I saw the screenshot. I was like, "Oh shit! I have a new song to listen to," and it is completely kick-ass. I love it. So they released their first album last year in 2020, and during the shutdown shows during COVID, they actually played a show for us on Grunge Bible, and this new song is far and away my favorite one that they've done. It's like they've got really great harmonies on it. Their guitar is like super crunchy and heavy at times, but then it lightens up. I don't know. It's
so funny. I came across they're on the feed. They're on the feed, and I was like, I need to go listen to that as well. And then I saw that you had messaged them. Yeah, were talking about it. So I was like,
and here's the thing, like
one step ahead.
Yeah, and if we had $1 for how many people or how many bands we've heard of that have been described as sounding like they're from the 90s, we'd be rich. I'd never have to work again, and because most of them are lying. But like Hello Mary has been able to capture kind of a lot of those elements, but it's still unbelievably fresh, and I am fully on board. So they're obviously they're based out of Brooklyn, and I'm in Rhode Island, so I'm not too far away. I would love to go see them live at some point.
Yeah. They're on the West Coast right now, right?
Yeah, they're on a West Coast swing. Their first ever West Coast swing, I believe. So I think they have 4 or 5 more dates out in the Southern California area. I think their mini tour wraps up, I think, like September 12th or something, if my memory serves me correctly. But really excited about that song. And according to their Instagram, they just recorded like basically an album's worth of material. I think they said 12 songs. So we know neither the day nor the hour that those songs will rear their heads. But definitely excited, for this band and for these people. They're great people in the band, and we're really happy that they're making music and sharing it with us. So that's my song of the week.
Awesome. Awesome. Two great songs. I love it.
That's the duality of man is even present in these song choices. I mean, it's all over
Kanye
the place.
And Hello Mary. It's perfect. That's good. Well, I just added them to the list, and we'll post that. I'll probably post it. So
right on.
Obviously, they'll be added to the list before this podcast drops. So
yeah.
See if anybody can pick up what songs we've added. That would be pretty incredible.
If we can preempt it a little bit.
But awesome. That brings us to the end of this episode. This episode 25. We're
quarter century.
We're at a quarter century. Yeah, we are doing it. We are sticking to it. We're almost. That means that next week will be half a year.
And we just crossed over the barrier of we officially have more podcast episodes than I've spent years on Earth. With this installment, because as of now I'm 24 and 11 months, so happy to get this 25th episode out before my 25th birthday. So
I think our birthday's on what days are
I believe it's on a Tuesday. I checked.
I was gonna guess Tuesday. I was gonna say there's a possibility that
so we don't get a podcast drop on
26. I was gonna say I'm gonna turn 27 on our 27th birthday or podcast, but it'll be slightly off.
Yeah, not quite. But
whatever.
That's all right. Right. Time's arrow marches forward.
All right, Chris, that's all I got. Is that all you got?
That is all I've got today. Sure is, man.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. And check in on every Friday for the foreseeable future. And we'll see you guys on the Instagram. We'll see you on the other social medias. Thank you again. God bless.
You know where to find us. Take care, everybody. Be well and rock and roll.
Rock and roll.